All right, you probably saw the title of the video. I'm ready to go on a rant. I'm going to try and hold myself back because it's not really going to help anyone to hate on a company. There's just so much stuff that bothers me about Microsoft. And the title of the video, if you haven't read it yet, I'm sure you have, is Why Does Microsoft Hate Me? This quote here from Bill Gates kind of says it all to me. I think this is a dirty business practice, but maybe you think it's okay. I don't think I'd be able to live with myself if this is the way that I thought. But he said, and as long as they're going to steal it, we want them to steal ours. They'll get sort of addicted, and then we'll somehow figure out how to collect sometime in the next decade. Isn't that something that sounds like a local drug dealer that's getting into the scene? Like, yeah, I'll just give away little bits of this and people will end up coming back to me. That just seems wrong to me. There was another one down here. Let me find it. Blacklisting of journalists. This happened in the 1980s, but Microsoft classified journalists as okay, sketchy, or needs work and targeted the needs work journalists in an attempt to have them terminated. This goes back to this whole too big to fail. You know, they're in bed with the government, and oh, yeah, even down below here, you can see the privacy issues, collaboration with the NSA on internet surveillance. But they see themselves as this big like fix to the world, and it's almost like a religion. They've decided that if you disagree with them, you need removed. It's pretty terrifying. Microsoft was the first company to participate in the PRISM surveillance program, according to leaked NSA documents obtained by The Guardian and The Washington Post in June 2013, and acknowledged by the government officials following the leak. The program authorizes the government to secretly access data of non-US citizens hosted by American companies without a warrant. Microsoft has denied participation in such a program. But I don't know if you've seen the movie Snowden, but Mr. Snowden is the one that blew this out into the media. And he's now living scared for his life in Russia because US government officials and companies like Microsoft might off him. And we could go into a whole bunch more stuff on here. Don't even get me started on Xbox. I don't understand what their problem with free speech is. I used to love playing in Call of Duty lobbies just to hear the anger in people's voices. I thought that was funny. But we're not allowed to say certain things anymore. So, you know, welcome to censorship in America. And then they're talking about the Xbox Live subscription price increases. You know, the price did double, but at the same time, you're paying a lot more for games now. You know, you can buy a base level game for the regular $60, but if you want any of the stuff that your friends have, you got to pay $100 to $120 for a game. And a lot of times they're just copies of games. You know, Madden hasn't changed all that much in the last decade. Yeah, they've added some mini games and they've added some, you know, higher quality graphics. Let's not get into EA right now. We're talking about Microsoft. So let's go talk about Microsoft Bing. Microsoft has done this a few times. They just got in trouble by Congress for doing something like this. But the title of this article is Microsoft Bing shows misleading Google-like page for Google searches. And just the first paragraph is disturbing. Microsoft Bing displays what is being categorized as a misleading Google-esque search page when users search for Google, making it look like you are on the competing search engine. How dirty is that? I don't know if you remember, but they also got busted for showing quote unquote ads at the very top, right here, at the very top of your search page. These promoted ads, a lot of times were their own products. So you'd go search for Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge would pop up here as an ad. You'd go search for OnlyOffice or, you know, some other freeware that's similar to Microsoft Office, and Microsoft Office would show up right here. And a lot of times they had like 5% off, 10% off deals that would suck you into clicking this, and they just microtransact the crap out of you. As first reported by Windows Latest, when searching for Google directly from the Bing homepage, users are now presented with a Google-like doodle with an additional search field underneath it. All other content on the visible page also promotes Google services, making it feel very much like you are on Google. Of all the things that I don't like about Microsoft, it's that they try to shove their apps down your face. My favorite comment that I've ever made about Microsoft Edge, and I did this at work and I've said it in a few videos, is I wonder how Microsoft feels knowing that the only use for Edge is to download a better browser. Think about that. How many times have you, well, and maybe I'm different. I do a lot of Windows installs. But every single time that I get into a brand new, fresh version of Windows, I have to click through the 15 buttons to get through to where I can finally use Edge. And then the first thing I do is type Chrome download in the search bar. I'm sure that they don't like that. There's other stuff inside of Microsoft that, they haven't milked you for what you're worth, honestly. There are built-in ads for Facebook and Facebook Messenger, TikTok, Spotify, Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and Amazon Kindle, and even Candy Crush. How many microtransactions do you have to make in Candy Crush in order to own ad space inside of an operating system? And that's probably a bunch of money made off of teenagers and kids using their mom and dad's credit card and their Google Play to be able to pay for ad space. Another complaint that I've seen online is, they kill all the best apps. I used to love having Skype conversations with all of my friends. I was in the military for 5 years. I was at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And I loved being able to see my friends back home. You do a video conference call. You could have like 15 people in the same call. And they killed it. They moved to business first, or Skype business, and then they changed it all to Teams. They added a whole bunch of crappy software into it, and now it barely runs. Windows XP, Windows 7. It's like they hate having a successful software or operating system because you won't want to move on to the next hunk of crap that they create. And then we can get into the forced updates, which then removes control. Microsoft forces updates on users, sometimes at inconvenient times, causing disruptions. A lot of the updates lead to unwanted changes and broken functionalities. I can't tell you how many times I've had to redo my microphone settings because of a Windows update. And I have turned off driver updates, third-party app updates. I've done everything that I can to this computer to make sure that I only get the security Defender updates and the actual roll up Microsoft updates. And for some reason, it still changes my settings every time that my computer restarts after an update. They have aggressive, very, very aggressive product promotion. You've got bloatware and ads built into every operating system. They used to have Internet Explorer, but now they're forcing Edge on everyone. They want you to search using Bing. They want you to buy Microsoft 365 so that you can have your Office products, even though you paid for every version of Microsoft Office up until now. It wasn't enough. Now they want you to pay monthly to use a far inferior software or web-based software. It just frustrates me. And you get these enforcements that they're trying to push out. I keep getting a pop-up on my computer that tells me I need to back up my computer using OneDrive. And really what it feels like to me is they're saying, we're going to lose your shit eventually. Excuse my French. So please use our other app to back your stuff up so that when we inevitably lose your stuff, you can get it back. I don't use OneDrive. I have another video. I'll put it up on the screen, top right corner. Teaching you how to back your own stuff up to an external hard drive. I'll even link the external hard drives that I have in there. By the way, those links if you click on the links, I will get a small chunk of change. If you don't like that, just copy the title that I put into the description into Amazon, and you can look at the ad and decide whether or not that's something you want to buy. I don't need to make money off of this. I have a full-time job. The Windows 11 hardware requirements. I just did another video on this. They're going to kill your old PC. Essentially what they're going to do is what they did to Windows 7 users, and they're going to continually make it worse they're going to stop pushing updates and security updates, which they're going to stop pushing updates. And very slowly your stuff's going to start breaking and you won't know why. But the TPM 2.0 requirement, and then no Intel processors older than 8th gen, all of that stuff is just so stupid. And they say that it's so that they can encrypt your data and keep people from getting ransomware and all this stuff. But there's so many other things that you can do to prevent yourself from getting hacked. First of all, don't go to shady websites. Quit clicking links in your emails for people that you don't know. The $500 gift card doesn't exist. I promise. That's how a lot of people end up with all of this malware crap. I have not run an antivirus. I've only had Microsoft Defender on this computer for the past few years. I've never gotten a virus, never even been worried about ransomware. I back my stuff up, so I don't even have to worry about ransomware. I just, throw a new copy of Windows on, throw all my files back in, and I'm back up and running in a few hours. A lot of people don't have that know-how though, so that's why we've created this channel. We want you to be self-sufficient. We don't want you to have to rely on predatory companies. And then another note that I have is the enterprise and IT admin frustrations. Licensing complexity. No one can tell me. I even called and was asking a Microsoft employee, how many licenses do I need? And they will not tell you. It's like they want you to make a mistake so that they can come back and make more money off of you. And it's not just, oh, I need to make sure that my operating systems have the right licenses on them. Microsoft 365 requires licenses, and they have 40 of them for some reason. Windows Server is a nightmare. You have to decide how many cores and how many threads you have, multiply by 15, divide by 32, and add 100. That's what it feels like. It feels like you have to have a lawyer looking over your shoulder when you go to buy licensing. Azure, I don't even want to talk about Azure or Intune. Just add-on license after add-on license just to make things work. And they don't tell you this before you start migrating to the cloud. You find out as you go along. So there's hidden costs the whole way. And then they've removed useful IT admin features or moved them into this, how they create pyramids of links that you have to click through to find things. I was trying to find a Microsoft BitLocker password for a laptop that we were resetting, and I don't know why it took me so long. It took me like a half hour of searching online, and I finally found it using ChatGPT. It told me where to go, and I think it was Entra, which is another problem that I have. They're no longer calling it what it used to be called. I think it was Azure, but they're no longer calling it Entra. So I had to go find it inside of Entra, and then was finally able to reset this PC. And what I should have done is just turn the PC back on, logged into it, turned BitLocker off, turned it back off. But I was trying to save time, which ended up costing me time. And then the final thing we'll cover is just their absolute poor customer support. I don't know why it's so hard for a multi-trillion-dollar company to answer a freaking phone call, but they refuse to do it. And when you finally do get to talk to someone, they have such a heavy accent, you can't understand what they're talking about. And I'm not even talking about like, you get forwarded to a call center in India. I'm talking about they find the people with the worst accents inside of the United States and make them customer support. And it's just to piss you off. Their support is so unhelpful. It's slow. I mean, a lot of times you're emailing back and forth with the people. It's like 48 to 72 hours before your issue is resolved, or before they tell you that it's actually your fault and they wouldn't make a mistake like that. I've heard that a few times. Why did you mess this up? I didn't mess it up. Your crap updated and we came into work and this computer's no longer working. Explain that to me. And then they have this forum. I don't know why we're still living in the 1990s. Why do I have to go find my information to fix the product that I'm paying for? And we're paying for 180 licenses. Why do I have to go look in a freaking forum and ask other people that are confused like I am for answers? I have better luck Googling for a half hour, going into ChatGPT, or calling up some of my other friends that are admins and just bouncing ideas off of them. Anyway, hopefully that rant was okay for you and I didn't scare you away from the channel. If you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on a video idea that you want to see. If you have any questions about how to do something inside of Windows, I love doing videos like that for people. That's why the channel's called Help Me PC. I'm here to help you out. Hopefully you don't mind the occasional rant on companies that I dislike or software that's just absolute crap. But yeah, hopefully you have a good day.